I could talk for days.
I got 3 bars.
Good. Can you hear all right? Good.
You'd think the flashlight would be at the point here, so when you're writing,
That doesn't make any sense. I'm crap today. It is 7. Are we okay, Pam? And I just remembered what I forgot. I didn't put the spaces for the time checks on my sing-along. All right, I will try and call for them, and we'll do the best we can. Okay. Let's make this happen. Call the meeting to order. Clerk Kern, what time you got? 7:01. Okay, let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming. All right, Clerk Kern, I think we're ready to roll if you want to do the roll call. Supervisor Bertrand, I am here. Treasurer Howe. Here. Clerk Kern, here. Trustee Detmer. Here. Trustee Monet. Yes. All present. Okay. We're going to start out, as we usually do on the monthly meetings, with board reports. That would include any questions from the public to the individual board or department heads. I'll go first. I try and rotate the order of them on there. So for you guys, you each have a packet there that I did not number, but God willing, it's in the right order. So let's start with a supervisor report. The last month was highlighted by moving into a new IT company contract, working with the township board to create a resolution against the formation of the Higgins Lake SAD for lake level control, finalizing some of the last work to be rid of GLUA, passing a township board motion disputing the Roscommon County Commissioner's method of member selection for their newly declared advisory board, putting together an informational newsletter included in the summer tax bill, and helping to create a 5-year plan survey with the Parks and Rec Committee. That survey is now on the township webpage for all of you. Go check it out. We need resident support for the grant writing. We need to get the input and then be able to tally it and submit it with grant requests. So it is on the webpage. If you go to the Facebook page, there should be a link right there where it'll send you to the webpage. The mailer that's going out with the taxes has the QR code. And we will start promoting that QR code, probably putting that in the paper next week with that QR code. We need all the people we can get in there as far as getting input, and the survey has a place to put your name and residence address on the bottom, so we're not overrun with a bunch of people who don't live in this township or have a residence in this township. So it's actually pretty simple. It's very easy. Again, the grant money Anything we can procure hinges on this resident input. For additional recreation activities that you would like to see be made available in our beautiful township. I will say Parks and Rec has done a lot this year already. Got a lot more plans, certainly open to suggestions. Anybody got any questions for me on the supervisor's report? Okay. You want to try a timestamp now, or are you kind of regularly going? Yeah, okay. For those that don't know, we're trying to track the times the items happen on the video, make them easier to find. Leanne Wisniewski, the Parks and Rec chair, her son is playing basketball. We all have our priorities. And we also have some sick members right now, but we're carrying on. So I'm going to take a minute. I'd like to take a minute to praise these members. Laura Piakowski, Leanne Wisniewski, Cindy Pop, Steve Reedy. I don't know if you guys know, it's about a year, but they work tirelessly to improve the township, and they take not one penny for any of this. Other boards, people take their money when they go to meetings, not these people. They're pretty much dedicated to trying to improve the township. It's not easy to be that kind of a person in the skepticism and doubt that swirls around. I think they proved all their doubters wrong. They got a bunch of stuff done in a year flat. I thank the Stars daily for their selfless effort that they put in just to make things better. If you see any of them, thank them. Accomplished so far was a very well-received summer concert series and upgrades at Park 27 Amphitheater. Look for more and even better this summer. They doubled the pickleball capacity from 2 to 4 while maintaining the tennis courts. Did the ball field and infield restoration and sponsored and hosted the Cancer Sucks yearly tournament to benefit a child from Roscommon County. Improved the park safety with dead limb and tree removal and started pushing back against the oak wilt incursion. Reported walking trail obstructions regularly and began planning to improve the Park 27 non-motorized multi-use trail system. Soon to be realized improvements will include an ice rink this winter, installation of the lake trout fish sculpture at Phoenix Park for photo ops. It's one of 5 in the county. Hammock stands are going to be installed at Samoset Park. Future plans included updating the 5-year recreation plan with this current survey. This has been much needed. We have a lot of help from Amanda Wachinski. She's very good at it, and I couldn't be happier. It's not perfect, but it's exactly what we need to do, and we need to get it done quick as we can. So currently, there's not a grant that comes by my email or anybody else's that we're not funneling and trying to figure out how to get money out of. So we're uncovering all of that. Right now, we have, I believe, 6 different things going on. I'm not going to name them all, but all of them are potential to give us money for various things that we could get done in our township. Are there any questions about the Parks and Rec committee input? I might be able to answer it, I might not. Depends on what you got. Okay, once for that. Next on my list would be the treasurer.
I'll go next.
Yeah, you're next anyway. That's great. Perfect.
Summer, the tax collections winding down, all millages are paid out twice a month. Camp Cornelia sewer assessments continue coming in with a majority, actually probably 80% so far, a majority are paying off their bill instead of waiting till next year, which is good for us. We can collect the interest on it at that nice 4.2% rate. Then again, with Mercantile to go over our options on moving the pool and tax accounts, but we have one hurdle to get over, which I'm not sure we will, but we'll see. Um, volunteered at the fire department for the kids' Halloween party. It was pretty good. I think we ended up with 80 kids participating in that. So that was
Cool.
it was a fun night. Got all the winter taxes prepared, mailed out. Should hit the mailboxes the end of the month. And then I attended the Roscommon County Treasurer's meeting with all the other townships. It was very informative. And finally, we received, I don't know if you guys know this, but we got rid of the Huntington bank cards we used to have and went with an actual credit card for the township and fire department. It's a little more secure than a bank card is. So we did have an issue with the bank card. So it's just a little more secure that way. No questions? Yes. Yes.
That was an important question.
Far as I know, good. You have to ask the budget man. He's more in depth with it than me.
We're real good on our budget, but you'd have to be a little more specific. You know, with the different funds. When I checked last month, we had two funds that were kind of pushing it for a halfway point in the fiscal year for where you'd want to be, not too dramatically. The worst one, we figured out there was an error, 20 grand was in the wrong place, so we're good. As far as halfway through a fiscal year and expecting to spend about the same amount going forward, which we won't do. In the winter, we're not going to spend that much money. We voted to allocate money for Spain. Looking at what to do that day, or you? Bill, I'm not sure what you're asking me. We checked the budget and they. Want to see where we are. I can't give you an accurate answer for any of them without looking at it. It is a constantly rotating, revolving thing with money coming in and money going out. That we try and make sure we're staying under the cap that you would normally think and how many months you've progressed in a fiscal year. We're good. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, like a fraudulent card. A fraudulent card. Held by a hacker. Yeah, someone outside. We got it and the bank was fine with it, but the credit card's a little, in my opinion, a little more secure than a debit card, basically. That's what they were. So, yeah, but they're more, credit cards are more, not insurance is the right word to use, but they're better. If something happens, they're more inept, easier to recoup any losses, so.
Okay, we'll move to the clerk's office report.
Okay. The usual payroll and payables are handled in a timely manner. The daily interaction with the treasurer's office keeps us both on a par. We try to keep accurate records of contracts and minutes of all meetings and committees. Still having some issues with receiving all the minutes and announcements from all committees, but we're getting there. These are needed for the record keeping. Almost daily checking and filing the expense reports and timesheets. Just completed the workman's comp audit. Parks and Rec proposals, we'd like them in a more timely manner, please. I know you had a difficult time getting stuff done on a tight schedule. but we need time to read so we can vote on what we're talking about. And the VC3 hours have finally been resolved and our new company should be in fine shape very soon.
Did I hear correctly that we have onboarding with the new company and inboarding with the new company and outboarding with VC3?
Practically,
So they're all gonna come in here and suck everyone's nickel we can.
I think they're gonna like to hear that. We've had a number of issues in the last 2 or 3 meetings. We've talked about the issues we've had and sometimes they don't get back to us for a week, the VC3. This guy from Grayling, this Kodiak deal, he's been here within a half hour twice and it took him 45 minutes once to come and they resolves our problems the same day. So.
It'll be better. Yeah,
I'd be more pleased.
yeah, I don't know what they'll hit us up for leaving. But Kodiak, the onboarding cost, that's a one-time cost. Once
Yeah.
they do all of that, it won't be in a yearly charge.
Open for questions?
Okay, hearing none. Is Bruce here? Bruce, oh, there he is. We're on to our sexton. Because we don't have a fire chief here today.
So 3 lots, like 3 burials. And 3 cremations. One thing I do want to add though, I just want to let everybody know that Race Across America is December 13th. So anyone that wants to come and support that would be appreciated by all the best.
What's the date, the 13th?
13th Saturday, I believe at 11 o'clock.
Thanks, sir. There got any questions for the sexton? I heard people coming up from your office today saying you're a great man, wonderful job.
So
I hear that so much, it's ridiculous.
2 lots tonight.
What do you need, John, for him?
Is there gonna be a ceremony like at 11 o'clock?
There's a big ceremony, they, Jerry List plays on the trumpet and then they come out from the church.
So the normal race
And then anybody that's there grabs some wreaths and they can put them on, there'll be stands and they put them on those grounds.
If you get, yeah, anybody who sings it can help. The last year, the rendition of Taps was played by the Luzerne branch of the end. It was probably the most stirring thing I have ever heard. That guy was phenomenal. Yeah, it's almost worth going there just to hear that over the snow and everything. You have a question, sir?
Yes, I do for Bruce, if I may. I know it's coming up later on, but as long as you're doing a report, what are your thoughts on what exactly you would need for the cemetery?
Sorry, what's that, Tim?
What exactly would you need for the cemetery as far as equipment? I know it's coming up later here as an item,
No. Basically,
just a snow blower.
we're gonna keep it open and then JC's gonna do a path 27 down to the main gate. And I'm gonna do at least a walking path so people are gonna be able to the graves.
And just a snow blower, a self-propelled.
I mean, I'm gonna take whatever I can get.
Sure.
If I can get what I saw today, that would be great, because it does, because with Paul's suggesting, that lets me get in between the headstones, which I can't do with the 0 turn. Because they're too narrow. So,
Okay.
I mean, whatever I can get would be appreciated. I'm not a greedy person.
Thank you.
Just some backstory on it. It's Parks Rec and Cemetery, and it's a millage. So if the money gets spent for those 3 purposes, we're certainly in line with why the tax was applied in the first place. So yeah, there's a proposal coming up, now that $20,000 is not gray. We pretty much know how much money's in there.
But can I just say one more thing? I mean, just in general, township doesn't have a snowblower. I mean, the snowblower they have is really risky.
Come on, that's exaggerating.
I mean, we're gonna discuss this in writing.
Not very big, I know.
Well, if you got a question for Bruce, go ahead.
We were gonna go through old cemetery, make a pack and everyone's headstones.
No,
It's not just, no, just the beginning. In terms of, Jason's gonna do the main road, 20 from 27 down to the first gate, goes past the chapel. I'm gonna do a walking path on the other two roads, the one that goes around the one that you come in and then you go around the corner and down that. Just road off to the right, that's all, just so people are able to walk. I mean, I see people, people go there, same 10, 15 people. And you have people that hike through there and they walk their dogs and everything. That's why I thought it would be a good idea to have that plaque.
okay,
John.
I'm sorry, go ahead, John.
And talking about, I know something that Bruce just said made me remember a conversation I had years ago, but the zero turn that was perfect, was like 40 inches wide, I think. And it was purchased specifically to cut between the headstone. So I think it was purchased exactly for that reason at that moment. And so there is some difficulty getting between them. It might be worth calling the former sexton and saying, hey, guys, how, how did you get between it? Since if we're
We have a proposal coming up later for the first witness.
Normally this lot. Three headstones.
Nice, yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna knock this off. Hey, we're gonna knock this off. We're gonna move on. And then if you got other things you want to say later on about the proposal for it, you're not gonna dog this guy about the distance between them. We have a plan, we'll submit it. And if we vote it in and you don't like us, vote us all out. But let's move on or we'll be here all night. So the next thing on the agenda. Is actually it would be Sexton, JC's not here for the fire department or maintenance. I want to do one thing different here that I go to a lot of meetings and I like this. At the point we have the reports, I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the reports that were given tonight and that we filed. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Is there any discussion on it? The point is to try and routinely have a better method of tracking all this stuff that had happened in this meeting. Anybody else got any discussion on it?
So it's,
So I did have a question here, though. We skipped trustee Jetman and trustee Monet
Oh, I did, didn't I?
in case they had something.
Go
Go ahead, I'll back up. You guys go ahead.
You were first on there.
I don't have a report.
Okay. I'm not sure if, well, so I'm going to use this time off the cuff. So it's 1 year tomorrow that we were elected in, and right, wrong, or indifferent, I thank all of you and thank you for being here. I spent the last month, and I thought this was resolved. So whether it's now or in the board comments, I don't see the difference. Reviewing a lot of legal aspects of things that have transpired in the last month and things that were said. And I'm going to share some of those with you this evening. And first of all, I would like to say, I don't necessarily believe that everything has to be aired, but at the work session that I was not able to attend because of a very ill cat who I lost, and I apologize for that, but it is what it is. Some things were said when it came to meeting minutes, and I thought this had all been taken care of, and obviously it hadn't. Supervisor Bertrand, with all due respect, but once again, as he would say, we have been here before, misquoted and misrepresented my words from a month ago. And I'm bringing this up now because going into our second year, this has got to stop. The question came up about what we can do about meeting minutes that were done months ago and how to correct them and or change them. And I made it very clear a month ago meeting that according to the Open Meetings Act, and it's 15.269 is the state statute, MCL 15.269, that there is a way, but the only way to do it Well, I'm going to read that in a second here, but what I want to bring up first is that it was mentioned at the work session that I stated that it was a violation of state law and or the Open Meetings Act for board members to review minutes. I never said that. I don't think there's one person in here that thinks I'm dumb enough to not realize that board members get to review information. And if you do, let me know. That's fine. It was also stated that they talked to the attorney to clarify this, once again, spending your money for a question that should have never happened at that time. I made it very clear. What I stated was 15.269 states that the public body shall make any corrections in the minutes at the next meeting after the meeting to which the minutes refer. I contacted the MTA for clarification. They talked to legal. They got back with me. I conferred with people I know at University of Michigan Law School, Michigan State University Law School, and Cooley Law School with one conclusion. They all had the same answer. You can't change minutes, and I think this board is aware of this, and you can only correct at the next and subsequent meeting. That's it. So at our last meeting, when, in my opinion, and this is on this, this in the statute, when the minutes were wrong in June or July, I believe, of this year that stated when it came to hours for Deputy Supervisor Pam Scott, and words were omitted, the word and in her extra hours. Can't be done 3 months later. The statute actually, MTA told me to read this because it's very important. History cannot, changes should be made and limited to correcting typos or clarifying ambiguities. They should not change history. Well, we changed history because we changed the aspect and the idea of what that actual motion was. MTA made it very clear the simplest way to clarify that, if it's months past, if you feel like there was an error. And the reason, real quick, they stated too, the reason for this is that you get one shot to do it at a subsequent meeting, because if you wait 3 months, it almost can seem like that, were you discussing this before out of public view? And you can't do it. So we changed history. We voted for it. I still don't agree with it at all. So basically, that was the basis, what I've been researching for weeks now, of what I stated a month ago. Of course, we can review minutes. Of course, we can change things. Of course, we can alter things if it's at the next meeting and before we even approve the minutes. So I just want people to know that moving forward, I'm hoping in the next year that this type of thing will cease. I have zero tolerance and zero respect for anyone who misuses my words, misrepresents my words, and takes words out of context for their own question, need, or otherwise. And that includes our township attorney, Michael Bila. I find it disgraceful that if there's a true question from one of the sitting board members about a legal aspect of something, come to the source. Don't get the question second hand, third hand, fourth hand, and then try to explain it away. Every one of us here has the right to be heard, and we should be able to talk to the attorney and have our questions answered and asked by that attorney, not second hand. So moving forward, everyone knows there's been a lot of dissension in the ranks with me, we'll say, and I own it. But that is not my desire. But my desire is, and I've been told I am too black and white. Many generations have worked hard to put these laws in place in black and white. And I don't think it doesn't do any justice, in my opinion, whatsoever. And it's kind of like a slap in the face that if we don't follow these rules and quit asking the attorney for every little thing causing the people, charging money to the people, when we have the MTA book, and we can call them anytime for free because we have a membership with them that costs like $5,000 a year. It's ridiculous to me that we have to contact because of Trustee Monet's words. Well, I'm not going to stop. So I'm hoping and praying, seriously, that in the next year, my words will not be taken out of context, will not be misrepresented or misused. And if they are, I will continue to keep on doing research because that's what you deserve, and handing you the truth. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Nothing from trustee Detmer. Nobody else is here. I think we can move into the consent agenda. Or go ahead, sir.
You've got a motion on the floor to accept the report.
Oh, yeah, let me redo the whole thing. again, going forward, I'd like to do this on a regular basis. So I would make a motion that we accept the board reports that we submitted tonight and file them. Do we have a second?
You did,
Okay, we got a second. You got any discussion from the board on it?
I just like, is there, I guess for a lack of a better way, is there a problem that people are saying certain things?
No, it's a step that we've seen in two different meetings that I like.
Okay. Cool. And then, let's just say, like tonight, even something that I have been researching for, weeks now, so I would assume we would want that in written form, so we can add that, because I did make a comment.
Oh, if you submit a written, we're talking a written report.
Yeah, right, yeah, right,
I'll submit it, sure.
okay. All right,
Yeah, something's going on. He couldn't be here today. If you have a question or a comment, please raise your hand. Okay, go ahead.
So he didn't bring in his.
I did not see one. What do you got, Patty? You asked the question. Do you have another question? Good. The consent agenda today are 3 sets of minutes, all from October. So I would ask you to reserve that for the public comments at the end. Right now, it'd be questions to us as board members, then we'll move into the consent agenda.
Needs to be a lot more detail.
There may be, but this is not the time to talk about it, and I'm not gonna let it happen that way. We'll be here all night. There's a time when you can talk, and that time will come up.
Thanks.
If you have questions about what we were just doing. We have not got into minutes. He brought up minutes, yes. We are trying to, yeah, we're gonna try and move into that. But we cannot run a meeting and have public comment running through the whole meeting. That's not gonna work. I won't do it. You have a time for your comments and you have a time for your questions. So moving on to the consent agenda, this consent agenda, and it's all over there for any of you who have already picked up copies. We didn't vote for that quite yet. Okay.
the reports.
So,
Just like-
well, we have a second. I'll just do an all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and
Aye.
opposed the same? Okay, it sounds like it's flying at 3-2. We have 2 negatives or 1 negative?
No, I said I mean, like, I don't mind him going on file.
It's kind of a small thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving to the consent agenda again, this consent agenda. Excuse me, they're not always the same at every meeting. This one has October 8th, 15th, and 29th minutes from 2025. Invoice register report 10/17/25 to 11/20/25. Both journalized and unjournalized. Check register from 10/16/25 to 11/20/25. And it would now include the department head reports. So when we pass the consent agenda, that are the items that are in it, including the department head reports. I will make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as stated. Do we have a second? As stated.
Second.
And any discussion on it from the board?
Yeah, I have a question. is this item correct on here, the final global resolution? 'Cause I don't think that would necessarily go into a consent agenda.
Oh, you're right. I pulled that from this. That's not supposed to be.
Okay. And then,
Thank you for that.
yeah, absolutely. And what about the November 12th meeting last week? Are we not?
Not there yet where it could be included in this.
Okay,
um,
okay.
Got the drafts, getting there.
I'd just like to say one thing. It's just a personal thing. Over the time, there's been people here that have agreed, people here that disagree with. Most people, even if they disagree with me, it's- and I. Okay, so some people have agreed with me, some people have disagreed with me, but most of the people have been nice and have talked nice to me. And I've tried to go out of my way to talk nice to other people. This meeting seems to be going south, and that bothers me. It would be nice if we could do a reset. I'd just like to see a little bit more diplomacy, and on both sides. I'm talking to everybody. This is something that everybody's got to do. My folks were involved in local politics, and they were always mad about something and everything. And I swore I would never get involved in local politics because I'm not that guy. But like I said, there's people who disagreed with me. Talk after the meeting, we talk about the stuff. We talk about township stuff. We're neighbors, and let's be neighbors. Let's do our best to get along. I'll do my best to get along. I'm sorry for the way things have gone south in this meeting. I hope we can do over and make it go well, but that's all. I'm sorry.
Thanks, sir. Okay, back to the consent agenda. Is there any other discussion on it from the board members? Okay, hearing none, I'll restate the motion. The motion is to approve the consent agenda as stated, and it is all on the table. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I
Aye. Opposed, same.
No,
Okay, 4-1. The motion carries 4-1. Okay, moving into board comments, and I put this here after we've been going through something for a couple of months. If anybody we had decided as a board, we are not going to have a township board position on the Higgins Lake Utility Authority. But that as individuals, if anybody has something they want to say, to go ahead and say it. So I cut this time out because from here on, there is no township position. And if you got something that you'd like to express on record about what's going on with the Higgins Lake Utility Authority, now would be your time to do it. And I can certainly start. I believe that the two things that would have been a little easier to handle would be a better phone system where you can leave a message to all people, and that there wasn't a particular number that was getting overrun based on owing money to them. And the other one, more communication and a heads up as to when they were doing their billing. When we had them here, they did express that they would maybe start leaning that way. Me personally, I think that the phone system was at the root of all the problems. They need a better phone system. I don't know what the cost is, but that's my 2 cents on it all. You can't have people call and not be able to contact, and you can't have people call and they cannot contact the person they're trying to talk to. If you have a message machine, you can leave them a message. That's all I got.
I would just like to say that, as I stated months ago, that Lyon Township shouldn't take a position in this. This is, I understand people want a position in this, but it doesn't change anything. We are not the ones disputing this. It is between the two other parties. And I fully believe that they don't need another hand in it just to complicate it anymore. So I'm glad that we're taking a position that we are not going to take an active role in trying to negotiate their problem.
Anybody else? Not that you can't say something at another time. But if you want to, now's a good time. Okay, we will move on.
Are we doing any questions?
No,
Yep.
we're gonna move. We gotta move through this agenda.
Okay.
You can certainly have, at the end, we'll get to the public comments. Moving on, we'll go to the approval of the meeting agenda with additions and modifications. There are 3 additions that I have, and they are all listed. Number 8 is a Shilby contract for the removal of the oak wilt, tree, dead branches, and dead trees in the parks. This was approved by the Parks and Rec Committee today. And it's now being submitted to the Township Board. Number 9 is to join the M Parks for expanding grant writing potential. The cost is $540. This was approved by Parks and Rec this morning and again submitted now to the Township Board. M grants, if we're in, then we have a lot better angles on being able to write grants. Number 10, excuse me? Over on the wall, it says that the side conversations where people can't hear, I prefer if you say something or not. I'm sorry about that. The third one, number 10, a motion to approve the creation of a line item in the budget to show the revenue to the township from the library. I have those 3 additions. Does anybody else got anything else from the board that they'd like to add on this agenda? Okay, hearing none, we'll try and keep moving. I will make a motion that the board approve the meeting agenda with the modifications. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion from the board? Hearing none, we'll end the discussion. So all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries 5-0. So on the agenda, per legal advice, first thing is to do a FOIA appeal hearing from Terry Cleaves on an overcharge for the cost of filling a FOIA request. I'm going to do the same thing I did before as far as the attorney's recommendations. I need to read your FOIA requests, our answers, and try and get as much of it in there as I can because you and I have emails going back and forth. I'll try and get all that out. And then you can say whatever you want after I get all that out there. So there were 2 requests, both on the same day. It was October 8th. I'm going to read them both, and then I answered both collectively. So the first one was 7:08 a.m. from Terry. I read your minutes both online and in the paper. Excuse me, there are many dates that are missing and have not been put online or in the paper. This is a FOIA request to receive the following minutes. 7:21 Planning Commission, 7:25 Parks and Rec, 8 Parks and Rec, 8:11 Planning Commission, 8:13 work session, 8:23 board meeting, 8:29 special board meeting. All the above minutes should already be approved and written. I would not be asking for these if they were online. The second request is a couple of hours later, same day. I would like a copy of all approved, quote, consent agendas from August 2025 through November 2024. That's a typo. November 2025. In parentheses, there was 10 pages here. Goes on to say these documents should be easy to gather and be sent and to be sent, being that they have already been approved. Thank you. If you have any questions, comments, or would like to discuss, and then she gave me my phone, or her phone number. So my answer to both of those was in the same answer here. Thank you, Terry. You're correct. They are not online. Only a few were published. We are working on what can be posted and what has yet to be approved and the reasons why. This goes back to our conversations about minutes. I hope to have some of it up by next week. As of now, I cannot fill your request for minutes not yet approved by the township board. There are none approved. If it is okay with you, I can send you an update list next week showing what we have posted since today and what yet I rely heavily, or what yet needs to be approved at a board meeting. There's a board meeting on the 15th. I rely heavily on the videos, and as you know, the minutes must be correct as we can make them, and corrections done as amendments for minutes already published. Let me know if that works for you. So let me stop right there and then move to the next things that happen.
What was that dated? Because I never received that. Seriously, I have all the emails.
The reply to you is dated October 8th.
Yeah, that's the one that I got.
Let me get through all of this and then it's your show. I had asked you to get a hold of me if you wanted to do a kind of a, let me see if I can fill in the blanks and work on that. This is what this was about, was to ask you if I could fill in some of the missing stuff. Okay, so here's what I have next. Hi, Terry. I've not heard back from you on if it would be acceptable to make you aware as we piecemeal over the next week or so
That's the,
some of the missing minutes back into the proper locations on the web page. That's fine. But without that, meaning you agreeing, I will have to ask for the 10-day extension to have all of it located or in place on the web page on or before October 30th. Again, some will be done sooner.
right. When I agreed to everything.
This is the process, Terry. I do all of what you said and what our reply was, and then you go. So when I'm done doing everything that happened from our, we cannot have a hearing if you're going to start arguing now. Just if you can bear with letting me finish what our attorney says I have to do.
Wait,
Okay. All right. So moving forward from then, you replied, just send me electronic copies of the requested documents that should have been online. You should have paper copies in the book of minutes. I replied, thank you, Terry. That's not how the process works. If you have made two separate FOIA requests. I asked for a 10-day extension on top of the 5 days allowed for both, and those are business days. As I informed you, you will receive an answer before the 30th, or before the 30th should have been of October. You made the request. We gathered the information based on our attorney's input. There may be a cost associated with putting the information together. If there's a cost, you will have to pay that before picking up any material provided. Same payment applies if you would like it emailed. When your answer is prepared, I will contact you with the cost, if any, and determine your preferred method of receiving it. So from there, you appealed, or didn't appeal, you came in and picked up the material. We're not satisfied with what you had picked up, and then so you appealed. So right now you sent me an appeal, and I'll read that. To the FOIA coordinator, this is a date correction on the first request for the FOIA response. On 11/8/25, I'm requesting an appeal of the FOIA response that I paid for on 11/7/25. I will identify at the appeal why the fee should be reversed and that information given and that information given was not accurate or complete. Let me know when the answer appeal is scheduled. So here's what I answered. Terry, thank you. Duly noted and received. Your FOIA appeal hearing for the original FOIA request only will be the first thing on the agenda for the next regularly scheduled monthly board meeting on November 19th, 7 p.m. Lyon Township Hall. The Lyon Township Board will vote then or at a later date as to what action would be taken, if any. So we are here right now at the appeal, and I have met my obligation to read your FOIA request and our answers. So now the floor is yours to say whatever you would like to say.
Before you go, I would just like to add one thing. I would suggest, because you're reading all this, Mr. Bertrand, and I have no clue what this is about other than what I've heard. Can we, from now on going forward, if we're gonna have these hearings, at least have some info for it in front of us? So we can read it. That's all.
So the floor is yours, Terry, and there is no 5-minute limit. You can say what you want.
Okay. Well, good morning, board. I too need to try to be like, sometimes I speak, I speak from the heart, so I'm gonna try to be fast. Email that he talks about, some of the emails, oh, sorry, guys. Do I have to do anything?
It should be
Okay.
fine. Oh, no, it's not. Okay.
Okay, so email correspondence. I did my due diligence also and read it. My December 8th, well, first I sent for the requests. There were 2. I thought because they were different, it would be easier to do them separately. So if there was issues, they would be separated. Okay, that's the only reason why I did that. Minutes, my question about minutes on one FOIA, and the next FOIA was about consent agendas. Okay, so I apologize if that makes it hard for you or what, because everything was coming at me that they're 2 separate, but all your communication was one. So it made it hard to decipher some of it. Okay. So I never received that one that you started after I initially sent. I never received that. I apologize that I didn't know that I didn't receive it. And then let me just go with my timeline of emails. On 10/8, a FOIA by email, I asked for all approved consent agendas from August 25th till November 24th. I stated these documents should be easy to gather and can be sent via email, electronic email. Documents should easily be found because they've already been approved. I thought it was a no-brainer. And one of the reasons why I was sending this, just a little info, is because I watch your minutes, I watch your videos, I read your minutes, I watch your videos, and I pay attention. And I noticed that a lot of times it just says consent agenda approved as stated on the minutes. That's all it says, but nothing's stated. So I'm like, well, what was there in there? So that's why I asked for the consent agenda. I said that's why I said that. I said, if you have any questions, comments, or would like to discuss, my phone number is that email. We read both correctly together. On 10/8, I got a response that said, request received, Terry. Forwarding this to the clerk's office, I'm going to ask for a 10-day extension from the point received. Okay, and there were a lot of them. So anyways, I said, I did send back one and say, just send, it was like so confusing and I didn't want to argue. I just said, just send me what you can when you can, basically is what I meant by what I said. On 10/9, my response was, these documents should already be available. Why are you asking for 10 days? They should be in the book of records for meetings. I got a response on the 13th at 3:42. It said FOIA response from FOIA coordinator stated, I've not heard back from you on it, on if it would be acceptable to make you aware as we piecemeal over the next week or so. So that one came after the one where you were already doing the 10-day extension. The document you said, sorry, I have not heard back from you on or if it would be acceptable to make you aware as we piecemeal over the next week or so. Some of the missing minutes back into proper, you said you needed to put some of the minutes back into proper location on the web page. That's fine, but without that, I will have to ask for a 10-day extension to have all of it located or in place on the web page on or before October 30th. Again, some will be sooner. My response was, just send me electronic copies of the requested documents that should have been online. You should have paper copies in the book of minutes. On the 15th, I got a response that said, Terry, that is how this process works. You have made 2 separate FOIA requests. I asked for a 10-day extension on top of the 5 days allowed for both, as those are business days. And I informed you, you will receive an answer before the 30th or October 25th or 2025. You made the request. We gather the information based on the attorney's input. There may be a cost associated with putting the information together. If there is a cost, you will have to pay that before picking up any material provided. Same payment applies if you would like it emailed. When your answer is prepared, I will contact you with the cost, if any, and determine your preferred method of receiving it. On 10/29, I sent a FOIA request update because I have not, and it said, I have not gotten any response from you. Tomorrow is the 30th. Have you found the consent agendas that that should have been in the book of the minutes of records? So then on 10/31, I got a response saying, sorry about the delay. The information from the clerk's office was made available, but I had to go downstate. I received the payables and payroll from the clerk's office as far as consent agenda materials that we passed. They are in the envelope at the desk. Attached is a charge of $20 for gathering copy time and paper. That information will be available to you to take once the fee is paid. Then I asked, I would like an itemized amount of why it's $20. And your response was, your options now include picking up the material, then doing an appeal disputing the charge in an effort to get your money reimbursed. At the appeal hearing, you can say whatever you want for as long as you want in an effort to present your case to the board. The board would then vote to grant, deny your request in part or otherwise. There was no other process I am aware of that includes answering your further questions on this FOIA request. If you pick the material up and pay the fee, please let me know if you want to request a FOIA answer appeal, and I'll schedule it for the next monthly board meeting. So my only recourse at that point was to go pay the money. So I did. And then there were more emails between us. I don't think either one of us read every single one. But I'm not sure. Well, I think there were more, but I'm not going to spend the board's time reading all of them. If you would like a copy of the ones that I have, I can look into getting that for you. But what I would like to do,
If you would allow me, there, I can probably say something that might shed light on this that you are not aware of yet, maybe from what I'm listening to, maybe you're not aware of how where the fee came from.
oh, I don't, because you didn't give me an itemized accounting of it. That's correct.
That's because,
Regardless at this point, let me do mine, and then after, you're welcome to
this might help.
let it help after I've stated what I know now. And I'm not trying to be mean about it, but that's all I can do at this point. So the first thing that I'd like to do is approach the board and give them a letter. And then I'd like to discuss why I'm giving this letter. Would that be okay with you?
I think if you gave me a minute, it might answer a lot of what's going on.
Well, we really spent a lot of time, and I've been told, you know,
Good.
so, and I would read it
Yep.
to the public. What it is related to this need. And it's just kind of like a formal letter. It's gonna kind of short summary, what I'm about to say, very short. I hope that you do listen to what I'm actually saying too when you make your decision.
Thank you.
I'm with Mr. Detmore. I want to lighten it up. I don't want to feel like this. I'm so stressed sitting in front of you. It's got to get better when coming to board meetings. Anyways, here's my letter to you. Dear Board of Trustees in Lyon Township, Roscommon. Under the Michigan Freedom of Information Act, I requested an opportunity to obtain electronic copies of a public record. I couldn't be specific about what may be included because there's no known established policy and procedure for a consent agenda. Nor is there information in the various minutes posted online about what is in each consent agenda. The consent agenda must be documented and are subject to public disclosure, as they are official acts of public body and are part of public body's official activities. The act of preparing and approving the consent agenda creates and requires documentation that is subject to FOIA. Michigan FOIA requires an initial response within 5 days to advise that the request will be fully approved, partially, or declined. The response I received on 10/8, like we both read, said, request received, Terry, I'm forwarding it to the clerk's office. I'm going to ask for a 10-day extension from the point received. Expect them sometime before the 30th, but I'll assume before then. Thank you. Well, okay, so we moved on. I let that ride. I'm waiting, just wanted to get the material. So I was never told that my request for information will be processed in full or impartial, or if it will be denied. Then after that, my request for an itemized cost of charges was not provided to me when requested, and I was not given the appeal procedures available to me in time. Just unprofessional emails telling me my options for the coordinator's point of view and not from proper FOIA procedures that should have been followed. In my opinion, the FOIA coordinator may have acted arbitrarily by charging a fee for documents that should have taken only minutes, and that information should be available in the minutes within the approved consent agenda. It was stated an appeal is the only way to dispute what I was charged and for what I received after paying the fee. I have not received an itemized cost to date. I paid for it at this point. So to do a hearing like this to see if you're gonna do something, you know, it's just weird to me. So I'm asking for reimbursement, not to say, please don't charge me. You have charged me. Okay? In an email dated 11/6, Paul wrote, well, when there is a charge, it needs to be paid for. We give you the material supply to the township. In answering the FOIA request, your options now include picking up the material, then doing an appeal. I think I just read this, didn't I? So we'll go on. And the bottom line was, the board will then vote to grant or deny your request in part or otherwise. The initial request has already been done. I paid for it. There is no other process I'm aware of that includes answering your further questions on the FOIA request. My questions were, why am I being charged? What is my itemized thing? So anyways, I just went and paid for it. So at this time, I would like to request a reimbursement of charges and a waiver of the fee. It is in the public interest and will contribute significantly to the public's understanding of the operations and the activities of the government in Lyon Township. For this reason alone, there should be no charge. I would also like to request a review of what was given to me. It does not tell me what was in each consent agenda. Board members, please consider reviewing your previous meeting packets and consent agendas to determine what was actually voted on. What I received were months of payroll, a check register for each month of payroll from November. And I also received for the same thing for payables. Okay, that's all that was in this packet. I can show you. And oh, by the way, it would be nice for you to correct my name. It's Cleeves. I see that on the minutes and on this, and just a pet peeve of mine, you should have that correct. If the Board of Trustees approves my appeal, thank you. If the board does not approve this, or only partially approves this, please cite each specific reason you believe justifies the cost and your decision. Please tell me why I had to appeal a charge before an explanation of charges were given. Please confirm if the information given is complete, which I asked for that. And was anything else in the various approved consent agendas? I still don't know that. Please consider what I've stated tonight. I'll appreciate a response within 10 business days, which should be by December 5th. But of course, if you guys want to give me a decision tonight, that would be great. Okay, I actually wrote a response sooner would be good too. Thank you for considering this appeal. So that's my official to that. Now, what I wanted to go over is, did you guys just approve the FOIA policy and procedure that's online? You did that recently or at some point, or have you not?
There's a FOIA policy that was approved here and we operate. True.
When was that approved?
It's been here since the day we walked in.
Okay, because it's not in any of your minutes. Okay,
Well,
I
that's,
have all the minutes printed and available. I went through sessions, special meetings, and board meetings. And I didn't see an approval in there. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about this. Maybe you should find out when that is. So because I didn't receive any of the policy, procedures and guidelines and proper documentation from the FOIA coordinator, I did go online and look at theirs that's on there. There's something on the website. It says public summary of FOIA procedures and guidelines. And then there's also the full. Well, when I start looking at it, I'm like, what? Number one, it's never been updated because you guys don't even use the website that we're supposed to contact and look at. Number two, says request maybe email to P.O. Box 48 Higgins Lake, Michigan 48627. Kind of thinking that's an error, probably should be corrected. So when you guys approve this, because it hasn't changed, did you guys read it to make sure that You wanted to approve what those policies and procedures were in the summaries?
I'm not, I actually, go ahead, yeah.
We never approved anything. We operate within it. If you're telling us that some of what we have on the webpage is outdated, that's not news.
That's not news?
No.
So why wouldn't you correct it? It's information that you're giving people about FOIAs.
Now that you made me aware that that might be incorrect.
So you never read it then?
No, I've read a FOIA policy before. I don't know what's on the web.
Like the ones from MTA or the ones, or
Okay, Terry.
Did that come from our board? I don't
No.
remember.
what I thought was you cannot charge people fees unless you have this up online.
So I'm talking about what you're reading. I've never heard of this.
It's online.
I know, but this board, that never came to this.
You guys ever voted for it? Because I
Absolutely not.
been in the mission.
So why are we talking about it if we didn't vote for it?
Because if you did not
We may not want it. We may not want to do it.
anyone, if you don't put
Okay.
your policy and procedure in,
Try and keep it on your.
you seem like a talk for it. It's like mine.
I'm just curious which board that came from, but
Well, it probably was
not me.
the previous board because the board before that, the board, 2 boards ago, before you, 3 boards ago, I was the clerk, okay? But anyways, and this was not the document we approved. This has been, okay?
We certainly never approved that.
Well, whatever got put online onto your new website, this is the one that's on there. Okay, so the information is out of date and part of the responsibility of the clerk and or coordinator is to make sure that your FOIA information is up to date. All right, we'll get off that. But doing my due diligence, I pulled the FOIA information from MTA. It's available to the public online. It's pretty close to what you have here, but I looked at that. I looked at the MTA's copy. I looked at the Freedom of Information Act, the actual law. I also borrowed a book from a friend that I was so impressed to see that you had it here tonight. If you guys all read this, because I would highly recommend it as a board if you don't. You know, so we went over my email correspondence 2 times. And okay, so that's done, that's done, that's done, that's done. We did this, so it looks like a lot, but it's not. So out of the check registers, let's get back to cost, right? That's what you want to do, right? Everybody does. They did.
Appeal cost?
What do you mean? Yeah, I'm appealing the $20 you charged me.
And that's what the cost you want to talk.
I want to talk about how you got there and that I didn't get an itemized count. Well, I did go pay for it because I felt like it was extortion almost. But that's just my feelings. And each register that was printed had a print date on it and time. And I wrote them all down. It's about 17 minutes. Okay. Which usually that was out of 18 documents. Okay. 11 of them were printed with dated 10/30/25 in increments of minutes. 9:57, 9:59, 10:04, 10:03, 10:13, 10:01, 10:16. So it took 10:03, 10:04, can be just as little as a minute to print these documents. And there were 7 documents that actually had dates on them that appear like they may have come from the time of the board meetings. So there were 7 that had it. So we'll say it took, what, 5 minutes to pull them out of the board meeting book and throw them in the stand? Okay, so we're looking at 25 minutes. You usually round down with FOIA. So it would have taken it down to 15 minutes. And 15 minutes it's kind of unheard of to charge someone. Then you look at how many pieces of paper did I get? Well, I got 18 pieces of paper that were not double-sided. Cost effectively, you should have put them on double-sided. That's kind of the rule in your documents. So it would have been 90 cents. So now we're talking about paying the last, I'm doing the itemization in my head. Because if you would have just said, this is what it is. Anyways. So well then, if you look at what I received 5 other documents that I'm not counting in that number because I didn't ask for them. They were in the packet. So I certainly shouldn't have to pay for them. And more about the cost. Half of the reports printed on 10/30 were 1 minute between report printouts. The information I received appears incomplete because I believe that all the items in the consent agenda approved were not included. The reason I believe that is there were in your minutes, maybe 3 different sets of minutes. I think one was January. I'd have to look to see what the other 2 were, but in January, you actually did a good job in your consent agenda and listed that payroll, payables, and a ledger of some sort in certain minutes were in it. I believe that's what it said, but it said more than just payroll and payables. So, and if it were minutes, an exclamation in FOIA would be, if you would still like the minutes, even though they are available online, there would be a charge for that. But because they're online, you can view them there, right? I didn't get that. I was told I had to come to this meeting to ask questions, right? So I believe that all the items in the consent agenda approved were not included, and I did not have an explanation of why they were not included. The time documented on printouts, 9:57 to 10:16. For the reports to be printed from the BSA program was less than 15 minutes when rounded. 18 documents double-sided would be approximately 90 cents if double. That normally would be considered no time, and no time would be charged, and cost is not excessive and would not be charged. I asked for electronic copies throughout it, which I believe could have been emailed directly from the documentation scanned from the book of minutes, either to the coordinator, who then could email it to me, or to me direct. Saving time and paper costs. When a paper copy is to be given, it should be double-sided. This would also save costs if paper copies are the only available way to communicate information. But our township has the ability to have documentation on website minutes for transparency and to electronically send emails. So I was denied that itemization of cost to my FOIA. I'm not going to read again what the response to me was. I think I read it. So in the MTA book, authorities and responsibilities states that the township must provide a requester with an itemized cost of any fees related to the FOIA request. It's the law. The coordinator has every right to charge for excessive costs. These costs must have an itemized cost breakdown too. But I was denied an explanation of cost, and a $20 charge seems arbitrary. Like, well, let's charge it 20, right? That'll better, because I actually heard in one of your minutes, one of your videos, which you guys probably should know this. I hesitated even on telling you, but before your meeting starts, the minutes are going, and conversations you guys are talking about are being recorded and put online on YouTube. Okay. And one of those, it was about those type of people that FOIA, and, kind of putting a defense, like I have to be defensible because of how you feel about people who FOIA. But just to let you know, you might want to check those before you come up on YouTube, because the last one talked about meeting the ladies at the 500 and getting phone numbers for them. That was also online. Okay, so you guys probably should take a little bit more consideration when those videos go up. Uh, a consent agenda, because anyways, the consent agenda is a tool. Oh, wait, about the FOIA. Remember that a requester has the right to ask for information. It does not make the requester a threat to do so. It is recommended that the FOIA candidate should communicate effectively without prejudice. The FOIA information online, which I told you guys is out of date. Also, the forms, there's 5 forms that should be available online to the public. Only one has an accurate link, and that is to send a request. The other ones, when it comes to this,
They're not they're not.
they're not active and not available. So they were never ever given to me, even online after I did my own research. Now, if I go to the state level, I can get it. But I shouldn't have to do that. The FOIA information online, I told you, is way out of date. The lack of information, all right, I made the FOIA request because information approved should already be disclosed to the public with a brief description within the minutes. Like you did today, I'm so proud of you. You guys are getting it together slowly, but you are. So the FOIA period, let's see, it should already disclose the lack of information can create a lack of transparency. Okay. The FOIA coordinator declined to tell me if my request was approved. He said, you may have information. Oh, this is when I went to pick it up. I said, is it all there? What am I getting? Full, partial? He said, well, it's in your hand. You decide. And you wonder why there's some little bit of hostility the way that, and you know what? I know better. When people back me, I get kind of like that too. So it's just not pretty on anyone's side. When approving payables and payroll in a consent agenda, you would be at least showing the total amount in the minutes, dates, and any other items approved in the consent agenda. Because it builds transparency with the people that have put you into office and that may or may not vote for you again. Believe it or not, guys, I voted for every one of you. But I sure haven't been treated well anytime I've come here. When approving payables and payroll in a consent agenda, at least showing total amounts in the minutes, dates, and any other items approved in the consent agenda would show transparency and proper documentation recordings. It would help to create trust. You guys got to earn that trust. Some responses from the coordinator were not clear. They were unprofessional, and it made the information he was giving to me confusing. It really did. Maybe that's why there was so many emails. And when you don't talk verbally, you may read into words, you know what I'm saying? So on everyone's part, consider that. Talking to your constituent is the best thing you can do. Okay? A consent agenda is a tool to save time in meetings, but should not compromise transparency. When using a consent agenda, a policy and procedure manual should be created. No, which I don't think you guys have. So you might really want to consider that so that everyone knows what can or shouldn't or does go in your particular consent agenda. Many approved minutes do not state what was in the consent agenda. Many approved minutes do not state what was in the consent agenda. Where they approved minutes, budget adjustments, ledgers, have you guys approved any of those things? Because according to what I received, you haven't. Or they weren't in any line items, so I assumed they were going to be in the consent agendas. But I believe I have not received all the items because of that. That may have been voted in the consent agendas. I would like an explanation for this, a confirmation that everything was or was not provided. I did not get information on what was in each consent agenda approved because I have that documentation from your January and the other ones that you did put what was in it. I didn't receive it. Okay, so I want to commend you tonight that your approval of the consent agenda, if it looked like that, I'd be okay. I might still FOIA the amounts or come to the meeting and grab the amounts that were approved off the table. But I truly did this because I thought it was information that I deserve to know and that all of the public deserve to know. Just like with my first FOIA. You got all the minutes except for a couple, and I said, you know what, we can drop this FOIA. I don't need to go any further, they're online. Okay, and one of the things that are really key to this is that when it is this is one question a coordinator should ask every time to themselves, because he has the right to decide whether there's a charge or not. The FOIA coordinator alone can. Okay, and gee, when he voted something, I can't remember what it was, so I won't bring that up. But there's something else I don't have here that I haven't read that I would like to read, and that's too funny.
Point of information.
Oh, here it is.
The number one thing said FOIA appeal hearing for overcharge. Very little of this is to do.
Well, here's how I've already paid. It's an appeal on the cost of the FOIA and what I received.
Whatever you did, you feel you were overcharged.
Well, I was, because
That's the process.
I was overcharged and the material itself shouldn't even be charged for.
Okay, and
Because-
we're different opinion. Certainly trying to roll with your ability to say whatever you want. I understand, maybe try and bring it back if possible, and we can move forward.
Well, if you read the. All right, hold on there. Got your papers mixed up with mine, so I apologize for that. I guess if it's in the benefit of the public, it's usually decided that it won't be charged for because it should have been there. Okay, you should have been there in your meeting minutes. I had a lot more to say. I just hope that you consider $20 in the mistrust and the information that goes out to the public over $20 that you had to charge it without an itemization of cost. It's not right. There's so much more I could read to you, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna stop now. And we'll see what you guys do, because one of the reasons is not only after reading the law, one of my options were just take it to circuit court. And the things that I have in here, it won't look good in circuit court. And I'm not threatening. No, I'm not. I'm not threatening. It's one of my options. And I'm just stating that I did not even have to come to this hearing. I could have went there and read, but I didn't get options. At least legal options or proper options.
Okay, Terry.
Okay, can we ask questions?
Well, yeah, I would like to, before we do, throw some things in there that might help.
Okay.
Number one, and always, I follow the attorney's advice. And our attorney is the MTA attorney's same
Right.
firm. If anything that you believe that we're doing is circumventing a legal process, it's certainly not being done in a manner that like purposeful or
I can say that.
Okay. What I wanted to let you know was that when I got I had forwarded that request to the clerk's office, and I didn't have that stuff. It's in the clerk's office.
Right.
So Mr. Pern and his assistant compiled the material and their estimate was that $20 would cover for both of them because both of them were involved. And that, it's not, I'm just trying to
But
pick it up.
something after, I'm not gonna say something now.
Okay, I'll hold you to that. The $20 was what was determined, and that's what was levied. According to our law firm, then you can appeal that as an overcharge and come in here. There's no, what I was trying to get to is it's not a back and forth. After the material is presented and you pick it up, it is here. So that's why we're,
Under the law, and whether your attorney gave you the information.
let me try that.
You have to give an itemized,
Let me try and come at it from a different direction.
well, let's try.
The process doesn't start until you appeal it. And you did appeal it. So that's why we're here now to go through all of this stuff. And I got that you have a different opinion.
The process is when I ask for an itemized
Okay,
count,
I'm gonna say that, well, the next was to open it up for board questions. But I thought it was important that you understand what happened and how the $20 was arrived to.
that's unexcusable. That's not right. And
I believe you stated that case well. So if the board members have any questions, that's what happens next in this program.
yeah,
Yes, I do. Thank you. So I just want to clarify that all this comes down to is, and to Treasurer Hobbs' points, the appeal itself is information that we were not privy to. And I mean, a few days ago, but we didn't get all those emails and stuff. So some of this we did not know transpired. That being said, so it comes down to just wanting meetings for minutes that are already available to the public that were not posted. Let me, you're correct, is that one of them? Meeting minutes that should have already been,
I direct that for you because he got what I asked for online.
okay, but originally that was, you wanted, the minutes should have been available to the public anyway, so when it was available.
It's the same with the consent.
Okay. So, and then as far as the consent agenda, I guess if we had a formalized vote maybe someday on what actually will be in a consent agenda on a monthly basis, and we'll never have this problem again. There'll never be a question. So it's just, so let me clarify that. Is it the items within the consent agenda that you want itemized, or just what is the consent agenda?
Oh, like, tell me, in a minutes, you don't even have, just say $90,000 worth of payables was paid today. The reason it's so high is because we started with the new.
No, you said minutes was fine though, so I don't want to get sidetracked. You said, you said the minutes point was taken care of.
Yeah, that's completely out of this.
So,
I was not charged for it, and nor did I ask for.
so I just want to make sure, because I think consent agendas should be made available to people. So, tell me, wait, so is it the items in the consent agenda that you want itemized, like everything that's sitting up there, or just what is the consent agenda? Because I'm not sure.
Consent agenda line, all of those should be itemized, just like you have them in tonight's meetings.
Right, so it's not the actual, like, check register. Okay,
I would like to see on the minutes is when you approve a payroll, put down 50,000 approved today for March's payroll, whatever month we're talking about. 90,000. The reason we're a little high this month is explain, give information to the public.
no, I don't disagree, but this is back to minutes again, so it is more than just a consent.
You have to remember the consent agenda is within the minutes.
Sort of the times counting of the.
No, I'm trying to understand the process of what he was. Right, but I'm trying to understand what he was trying to get and what is for the
Agenda, and what did you approve?
okay, that is fine.
State, and I'm sorry I talk like this, I'm not trying to be mean or raw.
No, not at all.
Just try and keep it with a question and an answer.
Yeah.
Try and roll.
Right.
So I just wanted to make sure that was like it's outlined tonight, what is the consent agenda? And there's no denying, we probably have had some consent agendas or have had consent agendas that it's not is clear,
No,
but it's,
keep stuff from November, because I asked back that November, December. Well, you didn't even have consent agendas. I understand.
Okay.
Because you're a brand new board.
all right.
If someone would call me and said, hey, Terry, I'll give you what we paid those months. We didn't do a consent agenda because we were so new and trying to handle everything else. I said, that's reasonable. Because the next consent agenda in January was there. And I'm like, oh, they're getting better. They're working towards improving. This is a good thing. I want to be able to support our board, not work against it. And I'm
Okay.
not working against it today either.
All right, does anybody else on the
No.
board have any questions? I don't have a question as much as if we don't do it, everything exactly as it should be done in your mind,
Okay,
and I'm not saying you're wrong,
well,
that is not a breach of law nor finable offense.
like, for instance, every how many FOIAs have you done this year?
I'm not talking about in reference to the consent agendas. If we didn't have everything in there every month, and I get it, it's nice. Okay, let's see. If it's not there or was not recorded in the clerk's office or is not there now and it was months ago, then we're stuck with that situation.
Well, that's why you guys, it's proper documentation that should be taking.
But we're trying to move.
Keep that proper documentation, and it can never be discarded when it's
The minutes, yes.
with the minutes. And the reason why it gets confusing, Greg, with minutes is because the consent agenda is in the minutes. You know what I'm saying? There was 2 agendas you approved every board meeting.
Mm-hmm,
You approved your agenda tonight,
mm-hmm,
and then your consent agenda.
Mhm.
And consent agenda as stated in the minutes is not proper. It creates disclosure.
my deputy has told me that from the beginning, our supervisor wants it to be called the consent agenda.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, but that's what I'm saying. And I also have a breakdown of this. Which came up to a total of 2005, which as I was gonna say to the rest of the board, they can have their.
Yeah, well, you're supposed to charge the lowest person available to gather the documents.
No, ma'am.
Yes, that's law.
I'm sorry, but you misquoted the law. The lowest paid person that's able to get that information, they have to be able to find it. And that is not our secretary.
It's the book of minutes. Consent agenda out and copy it.
I'd like to try and back away from it. And say we won't get anyone who's the question that can be answered. We can ask them. And if we don't have any more questions, we move on to motions.
Well,
So if we don't have, if anybody else on the board's got a question.
You still,
This is not a question.
you still don't even comprehend what this is all about. I'm hearing minutes, agendas. I didn't see any information, so I mean, if you guys want to vote, that's fine.
listen to this.
I need some more information to be able to cast some type of
Okay, I
vote.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else on the board got anything they want to say?
Are you making a motion to vote on this? Is that what you're saying?
It's not hard about what we're gonna do next.
Oh,
So if nobody else on the board has anything to say, we have some options. One is we can run some motions right now. 2 is we don't have to do anything right now. We have 10 days to give her an answer. We don't need to do an answer right now. In the motions are some, basically it starts out with, we will not grant your appeal. We may grant part of your appeal, or we may grant all of your appeal. The way that it was laid out for me by the attorney is that I start with the motion. That is that we will not grant your appeal. And if that motion passes, that's as far as we go. If it doesn't pass, I can make another one that we would grant half of your appeal. If that doesn't pass, you can back off of that. But I also have a serious not sympathy, but I somewhat agree with Mr. Hops. If a couple of us sitting here do not know all of what happened, I'm not real sure that forcing a vote right now is a good idea.
Well, I'm fine with that, but I would like to say one more thing.
Well, we need to do our process, so.
Yeah, you do, but you also said you'd give me as much time as needed.
No, that's not ended. That's the point. It came back to the board. So,
Really, what it,
okay. Where I'm at with you guys is informally. I think I can ask, would you like to vote tonight or would you like to postpone a vote? As a, just a discussion, not a motion at all.
I'm okay to vote.
Okay, the rest of you,
I'm not okay to vote.
okay,
I got a little more, I gotta read some more.
I think so.
I still. This is, I'm hearing this tonight,
That's,
so
yeah,
that's your bird's fault.
easy, please, easy.
that's all.
So we have a, we don't need to vote now, we can vote, what you said something, but I don't know what it was.
Thinking, I put it off for a little bit.
Put it off.
For information.
Let's just assume we don't bet.
So then you're gonna have to have a special meeting.
Please, desperate. Let us finish. So based on an informal discussion, I don't think that as the chairman here, or partner, that I'm gonna call for a vote right now. So as the official process goes, I notify you, you'll still get an answer in 10 days. But we're gonna take some time to think about it. And that's the way.
How are you gonna do that if it's a vote?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
You have
Would
to.
have a special meeting and do.
Yeah.
Not an unheard of thing around here.
For $20, you guys can't decide.
You have to please slow down that room. I'm trying to keep.
I'm trying my best.
You know, trying to work with you, so there can't be an interruption and everything.
I know about it and I would have had my due diligence.
Thanks. Would you like me to move? Let's stop right now and I'll do it a different way.
Oh,
Let me make the motion. Please, you have to be quiet or I'm gonna ask you to leave. I'm gonna make a motion.
Just leave, I was talking.
Okay, if we're gonna try and proceed with the business, we have to not have the side conversations. So I will make a motion that we do not vote today, that we table this, but do get her an answer within 10 days. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we got a second. Is there any board discussion on that, man? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Roll call,
You would like a roll call?
please.
Okay, so could you please do a roll call for that, clerk?
And please repeat so we can, because you read things differently the way I follow them.
Okay, we can have a roll call on this. I'll restate it. The motion is that this board will not vote tonight, but we will get an answer back to Ms. Cleaves within the 10-day period. So if you could do a roll call on that, please.
Yeah, the second from Hops. Okay, roll call. Treasurer Hops.
Yes.
Clerk Kern, yes. Trustee Dinkman. Trustee Winnie
No,
and Supervisor Bertram.
Yes. Okay, so that motion carries 4-1. And we are now done with the appeal as far as tonight. Okay. Thank you, Terry. So moving on with some of the other business we have. Yeah, we're gonna have to move on it. Okay. So number 2 on the agenda, to do with interview any ordinance officer candidates. I did not receive any applications. I'm gonna make a motion now. That'll fail or not or pass. I'll make a motion that without a pool of candidates, that we re-advertise with different methods to increase the amount of candidates. I'm suggesting a rectangular box that you add to the township minutes and declarations section. The previous ad came out in the WAN ads. I can cover the situation with ordinance officer until then.
Do we have this on the website and and Facebook?
But we should get the motion before we discuss.
It doesn't.
Well. I'll make them up. I already made the motion. That we re-advertise in a different method to try and attract more attention, but I'll restate it again.
I'll second so we can open it up.
Okay, so then if we have discussion, I think it kind of got misplaced. If you put it in the box ads with the minutes and stuff that comes up, people that look in there are politically interested. Maybe we'll get some more people involved in the applications. Anybody else on the board got any comments about it?
Is this on open for discussion now?
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, the only one I know of that talked about applying for the position was Bruce Zagan, who was our section.
Yeah.
And that's the only one I know of, and he given you know, a little dossier of his education and that kind of stuff like that. So if your motion is to make that pool bigger, so you have more choices, does that want to have a time limit on it?
I would just, I'm saying if we advertise it for 2 weeks and we got nobody at the end of 2 more weeks, then we address the situation as it occurs.
Okay, so you're thinking 2 more weeks in the paper, yeah, okay, well. More than one.
And never, no matter who it is, in favor of selecting one from one unless we select it as a board. But that's different than trying to advertise it.
Yeah.
Can I ask who is the ordinance officer right now? Because I really don't know.
As I just stated, I'll cover it till then. Currently, I'm somewhat resigned. There's no calls coming in. If something comes in, I'll do it.
So after, what's his name, Rick? That for medical reasons had to step away?
Yes, we're still stuck with where you were talking before about if he resigned, we don't have one.
Well, I'm stuck in the fact that how can anyone act as ordinance officer if he resigned and we had previously approved you, then we approved him, he resigns, and then we never reapproved you, so that's.
Offered to some.
I'm just saying, I mean, I would think it would make sense since it's in official capacity that a motion should be on the table to reapprove Supervisor Bertrand as the ordinance officer, because we've never done that.
We go ahead and do whatever you want.
Well,
I'm not against it.
he never took office though, we approved him to be that, but he never did.
Rick never took. Well, then how can he resign? It says that he resigned.
Well,
from
he
medical
just said
reasons.
he didn't want the job, really. You know,
Seems to me, all right,
yeah, I don't think.
that's fine.
So we had a,
Advertising.
Yeah.
did you do the second for the sake of the conversation?
Yes, I did.
All right, so we're still in a conversation about that, about redoing an ad. And I'll cover it till then if something happens. Any other discussion from the board? Okay, second by Monet. All those in, I'll restate it, we re-advertise with different methods to increase the amount of candidates, rectangular box in township minutes and declarations section. I'll cover it till then. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same.
No, not without a price.
Okay, well, I did it for free for a year.
Not that price, the price to advertise.
Oh. Okay. All right, then it carries 4-1. Okay. Moving. Final dissolution of any Lyon Township involvement in glue. The statement or the resolution requesting the townships to remove the members. I looked at it briefly last week and I thought I had some questions, then I looked at it even harder and I don't have any questions. I'm okay with it the way it is. So I have to apologize for you guys looking at it right now, but it's the same thing. Nothing changed. What I believe that takes care of it is in the very end of this, all of the talk about not removing people until the checks are cashed is covered in the now therefore be it resolved. there it spells out that the treasurer will hang out and make sure that they're taking care of the checks. Besides the fact that I am so done with this thing that I can hardly, even discuss it to any greater extent. This is a resolution that was approved by our attorney and Scott S. from Garish. So in the bottom line, we can vote on this thing and we then again need to vote to officially dissolve ourselves, you and I, as members of the Blue Board and or do we just dissolve this?
Yeah, so the members have to be removed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we do this now and remove the members still tonight?
I would say yes. Yep,
Okay.
that's what we discussed at the
Okay.
Blue meet.
All right, so then let's roll with this. I will make a motion that we adopt resolution 2025-16. Resolution requesting Garish and Lyon Townships to remove the members of the Garish Lyon Utility Authority and to dissolve the authority in accord with the dissolution plans adopted by each constitute township. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Well, we gotta have a second.
I'm sorry, am I in a hurry on
No,
this?
that's all right.
All right, do we have a second on that?
I'll make the second.
Okay, we got a second. Any further discussion?
Does everyone have a copy of this?
They do right here, not out there. Well, maybe there's some on the page.
You do? Okay, so the next question should be, do the members, people here want this read aloud into the record, or are you good with, your copy? Okay,
So seconded by Monet. Any further discussion from the board? Hearing none. All those in favor of
we should go roll call.
adopting resolution 2025-16. Could you please signify in a roll call, please? Clerk Kern.
Yeah, let's see, where were we, treasurer, but Kern, yes. Trustee Detman,
Yes.
trustee Monet,
Yay,
supervisor Bertrand,
Yes. 1,000 times, yes.
and treasurer.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. Why don't you lay a motion on us? You and I to no longer be.
well. Says right here, Lyon Townships to remove the members that's not included in this resolution.
No, I'm saying if you do a separate motion right now.
This is the resolution to remove.
This is
the
a
members.
resolution to do it. If you'd like to make a motion right now, I'm not sure what the wording would be to remove yourself or remove me. If you have a problem with this, back up and vote no.
No, I don't have a problem. This says this is the resolution requesting Garish and Lyon Townships to remove them. Oh, it's just that it's not built. Then we just abstain.
So
So,
you're abstaining from this.
no, not from this, from removal of myself.
Okay, so if you don't have a way to do it right now, I'm not even worried about it right now. It's basically you, I, and Brian Cook.
Oh, all we need is a simple motion to,
Makes that.
for the resolution 2025-16 that, the city and board members of the Garish Lyon Utility Authority, which constitute Supervisor Paul Bertrand, Trustee Timothy Monet, and Brian Cook will be, well, yeah, will be dismissed from the GLUA board.
Okay, give me a short version of that again. Let's vote.
That's all I got. I can't do short. I don't know shortened.
Then restate it as best you can and let's do it.
So I'll put forth a motion that the Lyon Township Board of Trustees move to remove the sitting members of the Garish Lyon Utility Authority, which constitutes Supervisor Paul Bertrand, Trustee Timothy Monet, and Brian Cook, and that we will be removed and dismissed from our duties,
I'll second that,
Effective immediately.
effective immediately.
if not sooner. I'll second it.
Up to me.
We got a motion, we got a second. Any board discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none.
Those in favor.
For this, for all those in
Yeah.
favor
Abstain, we should. Wait, we don't have to.
I'm gonna say all those in favor of that motion as stated. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, oppose the same. Okay, the motion carries 5-0.
I would just like to say, if I may, really quick, for the people sitting here, since there isn't any statute on the books of how this was going to get done. In a sense, we're kind of winging it, and we openly admitted at the Bloom Board, because there wasn't a defined process. How to have to remove the members from the, like a utility authority and to dissolve the utility authority. So if it seems a little chaotic, it was for us even sitting there putting it together. So thank you.
Okay, number 4 is to discuss and approve the Shoemaker Group to update our webpage with the Park and Rec 5-year plan survey. Township webpage. The cost is $85. We talked about this before, but we didn't know the number. The number is $85.
It's an hour, right?
No, it's total. So he did it.
Oh.
He's telling us he did it in an hour, $85.
I wasn't expecting that.
It was a little cheaper than I thought, but
Yeah.
okay, so. This was to get the survey up. The survey is up on the webpage. There's a link from Facebook to it. Will also be in the mailer for the taxes. I will make a motion to approve payment of $85 to the Shoemaker Group for the installation of the survey on the township website. Do we have a second? Okay, is there any discussion? Hearing none. We have a roll call, please, Clerk Curran.
Trustee Detmer,
Yes.
trustee Monet,
Yay.
supervisor Berkeley,
Yes.
treasurer Hunt,
Yes.
clerk Kern, yeah.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. Number 5 is an update on the multi-use non-motorized trail improvements at Park 27. We had already approved the spending of the money. The work has already started. I had already contacted DNR and had a process to get a land use permit. Apparently that has to make a circle route through Lansing and come back around. I'm not too concerned with it, and neither was the Region 2 DNR person.
Well, okay, so it doesn't matter that we started already.
We have started already. He told me that this should not be a complicated process, but I think there's more people who want to be involved. In either case, the work has started.
Great.
So that's the update. Any questions or anything about that? No. Okay.
And there's no price on that, is it?
Yeah, great.
Oh, we already approved the pricing.
Was that the one we talked about from before? Okay, very, yep.
Okay, number 6 is approved purchase for the cemetery use purpose. What did I miss?
Nothing says explore purchase of a small tractor. No,
Approved purchase.
Oh, this is, I'm doing a sing along. Yeah, your agenda looks a little bit different.
okay.
So there's more in this. To approve the purchase for the cemetery use purpose from Parks, Rec and Cemetery Fund, a 2026 Cub Cadet, XT1 riding mower with a steel deck that prevents the sand erosion, 42-inch 3-stage snow blower attachment, a cab enclosure so that you can blow snow and not blow it right back into you, rear tire chains, the mulch kit flat blades so that you can run over and mulch anything, and a 50-inch triple bag collection system deck, which is to use to pick up dry stuff. It's not going to suck up wet stuff, but you don't have to suck up wet stuff if you can mulch it all. To assist what is now our year-round access for residents to the cemetery at a cost of $7,671. Now, if you remember back, we had a zero turn mower for about 11,000 that we were gonna trade in or try and sell, with the assumption that we might still be able to buy all this stuff and turn around and have some money left over.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. Now, as far as clearing up the issues with the money in the Parks, Rec and Cemetery Fund, there's plenty of money in this. We have probably spent 20 to 25,000 on parks, nothing on the cemetery. That millage includes the fact that we should be taking care of the cemetery, and our intent is to keep it open in the winter. Do a better job with it, and you're gonna love it. You're gonna remember this. If it's open in the winter, we can store.
We will be voting on that.
Yes, we will be. But, this is the final step in piecing all of it together. He has available right now, the bagging and the mulching stuff. We could actually get it next week in regards to him being able to drive over the wet leaves and just grind them all into nothingness.
Does this have a snow blower attachment?
Can we get a second on this so we can put it up for discussion?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the, paperwork I have for this. I buried stuff. Yeah, so you have this is the printout.
Just a sec.
Go ahead. Do we have a second on?
You second it?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, so I have something to go for discussion. So you have the printout that shows the various prices. At the very top is the actual tractor itself. And then listed over in the totals, the tractor is like $3,199. The rest of it is the attachment. This. I only have one picture, but that's pretty much what we looked at. There. So he would be able to do the spur roads in the cemetery, so people have walking paths to get down to where they may have loved ones. And again, you don't know that you get no snow or you get 2 foot of snow.
Mhm.
The snow blower is an attachment for the cost of considerable amount of money because of the width. So that's about $2,500. But the rest of it will all be used no matter what. That's so if it's dedicated to the cemetery, that would be the tractor for the cemetery. So the picture, in case you haven't seen it, is that right there.
Is something you want?
Well,
I'm gonna be using.
wait a minute, like, do we not have any of this equipment right now that can?
Nothing around that little, what's that mean?
See that the, regular lawnmower been around.
Gosh, that's a question.
So this is
Okay,
gonna
that
be,
looks for us.
this will be your fourth mower we've got now?
This actually would be, if it's dedicated to the cemetery. Remember when in the spring, we were breaking the lawnmowers we had, so. We have a fleet of 3. One of them is pretty old. 2 not so bad. And that would be for cutting everything else except for the cemetery. There may be times they come over to do that top hill because it's easier to run a couple of them at once up there. But the point of this thing is it's smaller, more, you can maneuver it in and out of the places he's got to be, and it will take care of the snow problem where we don't want to be. If we get one snowfall, you can plow everything. You get a second one, you're getting touch and go, whether you're throwing stuff up and over and onto headstones. A third one, we're out, you're not plowing it. Some of this, it's gonna need to have this thing. That's the only way it's getting around. So we can't predict the snow. But to be prepared for it, that's where we're at. Anybody else got anything to say about it? I can probably, I didn't maybe tell you everything, but that's where it's at. Last week, I got you guys approval to go shop and talk to the guy, and this is what he's got right now.
Is that a front end cover that or? No, it's supposed to be.
Trying not to do the questions now. If you're sitting on top of it, the motor, I didn't sit on it because it's up in the attic. He's got to pull it back down. I don't know that it's any different than any other riding mower with your drive shaft going straight down the blades.
Okay. Just questioning more maneuverable. Zero turn, most maneuverable.
The 0 turn is most maneuverable, but we're going with something a little narrower in the long run. Well, the suggestion is this. There's another side, bigger, more money, 4 inches wider. That doesn't do what we're trying to do. We're trying to get narrower.
We're going smaller.
Smaller than that, they don't make the steel deck part. This is like the smallest tractor you would kind of consider for municipal use.
So do you just need something to plow snow? You've already got a mower. You got a mulcher.
No.
So you just need something for snow. So that.
Yeah.
The blower will help though.
Please,
Some-
conversation is.
Well, we've got that, I'm just trying to think, we've already got all this stuff, but it's not combined. And that, you're the guy who's gonna use it, so I'm, come on, your opinion. Yes. Yeah, no, it's, I get it.
And so you can also use one where, the one I got at my house, freestanding iron that it goes and it blows the snow. Anywhere like a mop.
A lot of this starts with, I don't want you pushing this. Period.
So. That's
Um,
all.
okay. But I mean, the money is there. This is a millage. We have not spent anything on the cemetery.
I mean, we're just advocating for a lot of things that I get.
Right.
Neither can us. Is there any other board comments on it? Okay, I'm gonna restate it as simply as I can. On the motion to approve the purchase for cemetery use from Parks Rec and Cemetery Fund, 2026 Cub Cadet XT1 riding mower with steel deck, 42-inch, 3-stage snow blower attachment, cab enclosure, rear tire chains, a mulch kit, flat blades, 50-inch triple bag store or collection system deck to assist in now year-round access for residents to the cemetery at a cost, $7,671.46.
Not putting all that junk in, but I will put the price in.
Well, so the process and the,
Somebody,
so we would need a roll call vote for that, please, clerk.
trustee Monahan.
Yeah.
Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes,
treasurer Hop,
It's just, I think it's too much. For what we need there. I mean, we've got that's my reasoning, we've got everything else you got, except. This. I'm in favor of snow blower, not a problem. I would,
Me too.
but this
too.
contraption is a little,
the snow blower. Okay, just give me a vote.
no.
clerk Kern, yes. Trustee Detmer,
Yes. Okay, motion carries 3-2. The next thing on the agenda is discuss the exact language needed for planning commission to amend the zoning ordinance 55 and by adding another permitted use to 55. I wrote this up for you, Steve, most of these so that you could take it to the planning commission meeting. Page 37 in the zoning ordinance 55, section 801 lists the uses permitted. There's 9 there. All you have to do is add a 10th one that says chickens can be kept in R1 residential pursuant to Lyon Township Animal Ordinance 35. So the PC we're asking the PC to adopt that. In order to adopt it, they have to call a public hearing to do it. So I know Sam, I'd given that to Sam before, but I'll give it to you now too, in case there's any question at your next meeting. I think he understood that, but that should help clear it up. If it comes up again in your next planning commission meeting. Okay, number 8. Shilby, meaning Martin Shilby, he gave me the bid for the contract for the removal of the wilt tree, dead branches, and the dead trees, and you should have this, looks like that. And the dead trees in the parks, if you remember back, we went after dead branches that were not and took all those. And we left the oak wilt stuff for this time of year so that we would reduce the amount of spread. We also fertilized a couple of trees and used fungicide on a couple of trees. So now we were at the time of year where it's time to get oak wilt problems out and it shouldn't spread by messing with it. So I'm gonna go through this because it's a little hard to understand. And I'll give you two options. So starting where it says Park 27 in his bid here in the middle. That says remove 9, 3 dropped and removed for $1,400. The remove 9 refers to the next line also. So you have removed 9 trees in Park 27, 3 dropped, removed $1,400, 6 dropped, period. Those are the ones, if you have been out there, they are along the base wood line. We don't have to cut them up and do anything with it. We just want to cut them down and get them pushed back into the woods. Phoenix Park to top 3. These are the white oaks or the top branches, and oak wilt, it compartmentalize them. The trees, okay, the dead branches are just sitting up there. We really couldn't do anything until this time of year. So he has a new piece of equipment, can get up there high. So for Phoenix Park to top 3 is $700. Phoenix Park, a Phoenix parking lot. And you're aware of this. Is to drop 2. Got to drop them and remove them. We got to eat the bullet on there. We can't drop it in that little tiny space of township property and leave it there. That was for $900. And then the last one is for the cemetery to drop 2 and remove 1. And that was $1,400. So on the bottom of this thing, what I wrote was the 6 trees, I had talked to him about this, the 6 trees that are in Park 27 that are in the wood line that really are not bothering anybody but need to go, we could remove this from this bid. We would then be operating with potentially paying them $4,400 to do everything but those trees, and then try and pick those trees up in the next fiscal year in April. Or we can just go for the whole thing for $1,500. That takes care of all the oak wilt currently for the township. There is money. This is Parks and Rec money again. Again, we've found the money. We know where the money is. And this has been part of the plan all along. We did the other stuff that we could. Now we're after the oak wilt. This is the last piece of chasing it back. If there's any questions on that or any suggestions, fire away. Or do you want to do I can do a motion to make it. Let me do a motion. I'll make a motion on behalf of the Park and Rec Committee to approve that Shilby bid contract for $5,800. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so any further discussion from the board? And like I said, there's some flexibility.
Is this the only one we've got? I thought we had another quote.
No, this is the only one because he bought a new piece of equipment that'll go 90 feet in the air in order to top. There's nobody else that I know of that's got anything close.
Okay, and I'm not a, whatever the term is, treeologist or whatever, but you said drop 3 dead ones and just push them into the woods?
Depends on where we're at here. The drop on the second line down, first line is drop 3, but remove them.
Yeah.
So that's actually in the parking area for the concert.
Yeah, I'm just,
Well, the next one is it's in the tree line where just drop them. Top them a little bit, push what's left right into the woods. That's all at the, if you can envision like the other side of the basketball court,
I mean,
way
like,
back in the woods.
so if they died because of oak wilt, that's not gonna,
This time of year, we should be good doing it. That's the
I
point.
just hate to push them into the woods and then we kill.
No, that's the point of doing it this time of year is that stuff is somewhat dormant. This is when you should cut. There's no insects to be attracted to the sap that might come out of them, and that spreads it a lot too. So if you're gonna cut it, this is better with 2 inches of snow on the ground, but this is good. Anything else from the board? Okay, so as stated, or I'll restate the motion that on behalf of the Park and Rec Committee to approve that the Shelby bid contract of $5,800 for the removal of the oak wilt trees in all our parks. Could we have a roll call on that, please, Clerk Kerner?
Supervisor Bertrand,
Yeah, wait until next year. It doesn't matter.
Treasurer Hunt.
This is for next year?
No, that's this motion.
That's to do it all this year. Waiting the next year doesn't, if we had
Oh.
serious money problems, we could, but we.
Yes.
Clerk Kerner, no. Trustee Detmer,
Here.
trustee Monet,
I'm going to abstain, and for disclosure purposes, because I don't feel comfortable voting on this. In roughly 2005 or 6, and I'm not going to go into many details, I had an issue with Shelby tree care on my property that involved the police and an attorney, and I just think it would not be in the best interest because I am biased. So,
Well, what about, I mean, if you're, I mean, I'm biased about a lot of other things, but I vote on.
it would,
You couldn't abstain if
you
you.
do have a, well, I have a direct conflict of interest. When you have to sue someone and
Yeah, but
it just would not make sense.
As far as I know, if he's abstaining, you can abstain.
And for full disclosure, that's why, under state law, I'm telling people that's why I do not feel comfortable voting on this, because either way, yeah.
Okay, for the sake of, I think it's not quite 10 o'clock. My motion is stalled out at 2-2. Number 10. Number 10 is it's about joining the MParks, which is the Michigan Parks organization that has a lot to do with grant writing. For expanding grant writing potential, our grant writer, Amanda, has hooked into these people already, and there is certainly better promise and better potential if we are a member of this organization. The cost is $540. Parks and Rec Board approved it this morning, and it's now being submitted to the Township Board. I will make the motion to approve that $540 fee to join MPark. Do we have a second?
I'll take.
Okay, any board discussion?
Yes, I'd like to say a few things nice about them, and she came in with a high price tag. And right now, because of that liner, we're playing with house money. She's doing her job just fine, and we got a lot of things out there, a lot of things in the works.
I would agree. We went over 6 different areas that we are now pursuing grants in, and it ain't over yet. We could be up to 7 or 8 by midwinter.
And this could give her more options, this being a member.
Yes. You know, and her interconnections, this is her suggestion.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay, any other discussion from the board? Okay, we'll end the discussion. Roll call again, please, Clerk Kerner.
Treasurer Hunt,
yes.
Clerk Kerner, yes. Trustee Detmer,
Yes.
trustee Monet,
No,
and Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes. So that motion carries 4-0.
4-1.
I'm sorry. Get tired. Number 11, motion to approve the creation of a line item to show revenue to the township from the library. This is about, when we made the agreement with the library, the estimated cost for their share of utilities was about $125. They elected to submit to us a contract where they're giving us $500 a month. That's way more than we're going to ever use in the utilities. They're comfortable with that. If you remember, there was quite a scare a year and a half ago about getting rid of the library here. Do you want to be here? Want to stay here? They're willing to work with us to do it for $500. What I had told them, and that you guys may remember this, if you take the utility component out of it, then maybe we could find a way to stockpile that money for children's services. I would like to formalize, the reason this motion is here is to formalize that when we get that money from them, we have a line item where we're putting it to show that that's the revenue coming in and eventually showing the money that's going out. Might not be children's programming. That was certainly something that appealed to them, especially if the township is sponsoring something that might happen at Park 27. Full backstory, Laura Piakowski is a certified teacher for children's programming like that. So we actually have a person who could do it. And I personally don't see throwing all that money at utilities. Square footage wise in this building, about 125 a month covers their percentage of what we do on an average for a whole year.
125 a month.
Yeah. Yeah,
Do
100.
you want to make a line item?
Well, I want to do a motion that we have a line item, so when that money comes in, it goes right there.
Well, no, then it's gonna go out to the utilities for their portion.
Yeah. From there, the expenditures would be the utilities. We have X amount of money left over, and let's start at looking what we could maybe do for kids.
I'll second.
Okay, so we got a second from Hops.
First, they gotta pay for November. They still haven't paid the November.
I'm sure they're good for it.
I got a close second. Right.
You on the first, not the 20th.
I think you pointed that out to her. Let's say,
I don't, you should leave the library. Overlook. It's bread thing.
I'm not sure I got that far. I'll restate it. I'll make the motion to create a line item showing revenue to the township from the library. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any other discussion from the board other than that lead in?
Yeah, I do. I have a concern. I'm not so sure the township can take that money and just use it for that legally.
Might not be able-
I know we can't use it for we really shouldn't be sponsoring anything, not supposed to. We can't give it to a nonprofit. We can't. So I have a problem with the legal aspect of this.
Well, we haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
There was discussion, that's my discussion.
The motion is about making sure it doesn't get lost in all the other. Put it somewhere.
Or it just stays there.
Maybe that's where that, but we won't be looking for it. Easy to find. Any other board discussion? Okay, hearing none, can we get a roll call again there? Please, clerk.
Let me ask one question again. You already have a certain figure in my mind. Just on a line item showing came in.
Yes.
And then, okay,
And now just,
we haven't determined anything that it could be used for if we have extra money over that thing. Okay, that
now
we did stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
I just don't want it coming in this building and then what happens.
A percentage of it will go into that line item. And a percentage will go pay their utilities.
Well, it's got to make it to the line item for the revenue first. And
that would be whole.
Yeah, then we
Yeah,
gotta get.
okay,
Sure, with anything else to do. Sorry.
okay. And you want to,
Is this person? Yep, go ahead and
Whitburn, yeah. Trustee Detmer,
Yes.
trustee Monet,
No.
supervisor Bertrand,
yes.
treasurer Hunt.
Yes.
Okay, carries 4-1. Great, googly boogly.
So we,
We'll give public comment the last word, so I'll do the announcement. Again, the survey for Parks and Rec 5-year plan is operational. The ice rink is coming as soon as we can get some cooperative weather. And the dates that we are closed through the Thanksgiving and Christmas holiday. So this would end up being in the minutes and probably posted elsewhere. 11/26, 11/27, then 12/25, 12/26, and then again 12/31 and 1/1/26.
This is for the ice rink?
closing our office.
Yeah, we're going skating all over.
Christmas, I know that.
Taking the day off, going.
So we've already got those. We already.
You asked me to put it on the agenda.
No,
Okay,
You didn't read my request right.
okay. Well, there it was announced.
It's month's agenda.
See
See what that was.
okay, well, there it is. That's the one will be closed. So we are to public comment. Anybody would like to get up and say something?
Agenda, so we were talking about. That would have burial. Or burial, or 850.
You are correct, sir.
Oh, yeah. Remember that, they're going up $200, right?
100.
I'm gonna make a motion right now that we revisit the agenda to put an addition on that I omitted. Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, as far as discussion, we changed the price of the burial because of winter. We need to formalize that. Any other board discussion?
Well, the discussion was that, our price is being raised. From subjects,
Right, but I wanted to add to the agenda, making a motion to
till then.
to revisit the agenda and add this.
That's fine.
Is there any other discussion from the board? This might not be proper protocol, but that's where I'm going. Hearing no other discussion, then, all those in favor of revisiting the agenda signify by saying aye. Aye, oppose the same.
No,
Okay, motion carries 4-1. So the item is that we need to discuss and approve the fact that we are charging more for this burial because of the time of year. And that's from $750 to $850. Okay. For the sake of discussion, I'll make the motion that this board approve the cost of this winter burial at $850 as opposed to the normal cost of $750. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any board discussion on it?
Yeah, the only reason we're going up is because our price is going up. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Good.
Well, yeah, we're gonna bury the person, and if it costs more money in the winter,
is this price on the website, number one? And if it is, does it set precedent for someone else, number two? Number three, I'm not so sure, and I've had questions into MTA about this whole legal idea of what we're charging, making monies off of this. I understand why the price is what it is. If Nick Sargent said it's $750 and this, I mean, but I think it's very open-ended. I think,
well, we all get votes.
yeah,
Anybody else got any
you
discussion?
can go through with it, but yeah.
Anybody else from the board have a comment on, the fact that we would be asked to approve raising it to $850 from $750? Okay, hearing none. I'll restate the motion and ask for a roll call. The motion is for the board to approve the rise in cost from $750 to $850 for this winter burial on December, what is it? 5th? Okay. Yeah, restated it, so do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any other discussion from the board? All right, Clerk Kern, if you want to do a roll call, we'll get that done.
Trustee Detmer,
Yes.
trustee Monet,
No,
supervisor Berkman,
Yes,
treasurer Hub,
Yes.
clerk Kern, yeah.
okay, motion carries 4-1. All right, now, what else did I forget? Okay. Yeah, you know,
That was simple.
what you need there.
Number 8. So the motion for the. No, that means it failed. Are you gonna do another motion for the vote?
Number one.
Because Mr. Monet abstained. Yes, to me.
Probably not. I could do the, okay, you convinced me. If we are still in the revisiting the agenda. If you go back to item number 9 for the pre-contract. So it was 2-2 with an abstain vote for $5,800. There was a second version of that where we could eliminate the 6 drop trees in the park until the next fiscal year. That would change that cost to $4,400. I will quickly make a motion that we approve the Shelby contract for $4,400 and move the other dead trees into the following fiscal year in the spring. So this is a motion to approve $4,400 for almost all the oak wilt in the parks. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we do have a second. Any other further discussion from the board?
The reason you don't go trees with all well this time of year is because they leave their trees and then blooms to other trees and makes the sap flow and then the bugs get on it and it causes the oak wilt. So cutting trees in the spring doesn't seem like it makes any sense to me.
Yeah, we think there's a brief window like 3 weeks in April, where they can cut, but then the ban comes on where you can't cut any oak. No, yeah, I would prefer to do it all at once, but that didn't pass. Any other comment from the board on that? Okay, I'll restate it for the sake of it, that we approve the contract for almost all the oak wilt trees at $4,400 to be done yet this fall. The second was Hops. Can we have a roll call, please, clerk?
Clerk Kern, no. Trustee Detmer,
No.
trustee Monet,
Abstain.
abstain. Supervisor Bertrand,
Yes, cut any of them we got.
treasurer Hop.
Yes.
Okay, we're still at 2-2 with an abstain. All right. Just was for a different amount of money. Good Lord, finally getting it. Thank you. Who would like to come up and lay some wisdom on us?
I still want to give you a compliment. I want to thank the board for doing the X-ray. It's something I've been advocating 5 years and it's finally done. So I just want to say thank you.
You're very welcome.
Hope to see you skating out there.
Yeah,
I was a pretty good hockey player in my day.
see if we can do some partner stuff. Thank you, Bruce. Anybody else got something they'd like to say while we're here? You? Once again, we'll try and keep it under 5 minutes. Oh, yeah, I'm working on it. I'm practicing. Okay, well, I've got actually 2 subjects that I'd like to touch on. One really relates to what Steve Detmer was commenting on about the Rodney King-like statement about can't we all just get along? But it really connects, I think, also to the FOIA thing that Mary was talking about in such detail. She explained how she found problems with the procedure for the FOIA, and they weren't really matching either what was on the website or what was on the state statute or what was on the MPA website. And but this is not a new problem. I filed a FOIA request in August, okay? And there were some procedural issues that I listed in detail to Paul Bertrand. And in any event, it proceeded into October, and this subject came up at the October 8th work session. And then subsequently to that, I was scheduled for an appeal at the October 15th regular session. And the thing about the way that proceeded was kind of interesting because it comes back partly to what Steve is saying. In the work session, Paul read a statement from the township attorney, which I thought really sets a really arrogant attitude against the constituents here. Paul read a statement from him where he said, well, if people are that nosy that they need to know all this information, they should just run for office. He didn't say nosy. Well, go back and listen to the video, and that's what you read at the meeting. And I made the comment at the time, and I thought it was ignorant, okay, and excuse me, that's my comments. So in any event, the attitude, I think, originates from the attitude of the attorney, because I notice he gets consulted a lot. maybe he was offended because my FOIA actually related to consultations, topics and frequencies with the township attorney, and maybe he took offense to that, and that's maybe why he made that comment. The attorney is there as an advisor, not as a member, a voting member of this board. And so no matter what he says, if it has an attitude, you guys ought to filter that out and not let it creep into the politics of the board deliberations and the way that people are treated when they have a FOIA request. I get the impression from what Terry said, and from my experience, that part of the issue here has to do with the attitude that somebody who submits a FOIA request is annoying. You have the feeling that you're annoyed and you have to go ahead and explain yourself in a way that seems like it's unreasonable to me. But I did hand out some materials in both the October 8th meeting and the October 15th meeting. Apparently those they weren't incorporated into the minutes that I know of. Somebody asked for them earlier, but in any event, I think I handed out 3 different things between those 2 different meetings. And a lot of it had to do really with FOIA kinds of procedure. There's a short letter to the editor that's published this week in the Traverse City Record Eagle that deals with FOIA requests, and it's from Lyon Township. I'll leave it to you to go ahead and look it up. I won't waste my time reading it right now. But in any event, at the October 15th meeting, which was the appeal hearing for my FOIA request, I was it says in the minutes that I left the meeting abruptly, but what it didn't say is why I left the meeting. And the reason that I left the meeting abruptly and said that this was probably kind of a farce was because in the previous meeting on the October 8th, it was announced by Mr. Bertrand that my chance of succeeding in my appeal was like 99% zero. Now, that doesn't sound to me like somebody's got an open mind going into an appeal hearing. And if you go back and look at your minutes, you go ahead and look at your video, listen to your video, you'll know that you actually said that. And so you basically foretold the outcome before the meeting was ever taken place. I think that's wrong. And I think that if we're going to go ahead and do a better job on FOIAs, we need to read our own township website. We also need to read the other things that are like the state statute or like the MPA version. But there's a procedure and there's things that have to do with how much you can charge, what you can charge for. There's also the questions about whether the information is complete. And I found that my information to be incomplete. That's why I complained about it. Terry Cleese found the information to be incomplete. That's why she appealed it. And I don't think we need to be redoing this over and over again, because I think this is bad will between the board and constituents. And if we're going to go ahead and take Steve's words, you know, for what they were, that we all need to get along better, then I think some of the attitude needs to be adjusted up front there. I'll make one last comment and I'm done. Yeah, go ahead, finish up. Okay. Attitude has a lot to do with what people do in the way that they relate to leadership on this board. We went through this chicken thing, okay, and I've brought this up before, and this is about Steve. After one of the chicken meetings, he followed me to my car, okay? And this is what he said. Because he didn't like what I said at the meeting. He says, I was a cop for many years and know how to deal with difficult people like you. Now, he denied saying that at the meeting subsequent to that, but I was there. Nobody else was there. He followed me all the way in my car. There was nobody around that could think. But if we're going to have a change in attitude, it needs to start at the top. Okay, that's really all I've got to say.
Thanks, sir.
Yep.
So anybody else got any comments? Not up, Sam.
Patty Dennis, Lyon Township. I just kind of wanted to ask a question perhaps. I'm curious why all the FOIA talk here, but I'm curious about why the FOIA requests go through the supervisor when 90% of the requests have to be fulfilled by the clerk's office. It seems like it's a cumbersome process. So I'm curious about that and wondered, you don't have to answer, but I think it doesn't make sense.
No, I can answer it. I offered to do it when we first took office to free up the treasurer and secretary's offices to learn their jobs.
Well, perhaps
Mark.
the year has passed and you might want to reconsider that process.
I will take that into consideration.
And then when it comes, my other comment has to do with the question that I had earlier about the minutes and the fact that they often, like, for example, on the, I think it's the October, I don't even know, 8th work session. At the last page of that, it was about public comments that Phil Robinson had made. And all it says is it took him over 5 minutes. And he kept being alerted that his time was elapsing, but there's absolutely no documentation as to what the topic was. So I don't understand that. I mean, why wouldn't it be that the comment was about FOIA requests apparently? I don't know, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? And so I have to say the minutes when I read them, if you haven't watched the video or haven't been here, they're not thorough enough to really know what was going on. And for people, some people, they don't have time to watch a 3-hour video to get the information. I want to be able to read minutes that make sense and that are thorough. And so I think there's a lot of room for improvement there. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Pat.
For sure.
Remember that the video is there because of everything that you just said and we all said, that that's our fail-safe, but the minutes are the accurate record. And I have seen minutes that said nothing, and that's fine. And I've seen minutes, you've seen them in the paper, where every public comment that was made is all listed in there. Again, at what point is it against the law? It's pretty obvious to me that there's a lot of variety in there.
It's not about following the law. It's about serving
Well,
your.
I'm saying you want more in there, and I hear you. Anybody else got something they want to say? Yeah, come on.
Marty Barta, Lyon Township. Where are we with the zero turn mower that was going to be sold or traded, or where are we?
We left it there on a consignment for pushing 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And they, at one point, notified me anyway, they had an offer on it, but they felt it was too low. We were trying to find some mutual thing. It turned into, the ability to loosen the money up for what we just did here cemetery wise. We couldn't do it, and so we took it back, just took it back and put it into our fleet of service. So we.
And
did
it's
that.
still being used?
Yes.
Okay.
We needed a repair. But there was-
Weapon doesn't have a valid leak, but then we said, keep it so you can sell.
They're using it.
Okay. Well, at least it's still being used, because that's an awful lot of money to be
Yeah,
spent.
very expensive machine.
I do have a problem with what I've witnessed today. I find it very unprofessional that each and every one of the board members were not provided with the necessary information to make an informed decision on the appeal today. I feel like that was disrespectful to Terry Cleaves, and I also feel that it made the board, it didn't bode well for the board. That, and it's not to, I don't think it's to anybody's fault individually if you didn't get information about it. But Mr. Hobbs, I heard you say on a couple of occasions, I don't even know what we're doing here, and that just doesn't look well for the board. Everybody needs to be completely informed if they're going to come before the public and make a decision And so then, as a result, a decision couldn't be made today, and now you're gonna have to have another special meeting. And I think that that doesn't bode well. I mean, unfortunately for Tim, I think there's a lot of special meetings he hasn't been able to attend. And so special meetings are not always the answer for things too. That's just my opinion though. And then I have a just want to make a comment about the meetings. The videos are great. They're you know, when I'm not here, I listen to them while I'm making dinner and while I'm doing things and, you know, but the videos are not going to be around. They're just plain not. So they're not the historical record of the township. The historical record of the township comes through on the minutes. And 10 years from now, 1 year from now, we look at the minutes that are being submitted. They're not complete and full and accurate historical records of the business of the township, I feel. So those are my opinions.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Who's next? Come on up, John. This is,
Chair's hurt your back too.
Ryan. Again, I was not missing anything, but,
you had never.
yeah, it's this good conclusion. But yeah, I'm trying to be friendly here, but there's obviously a problem with the FOIA process, and I hope you guys take a look at it and consider it. I was asked by a colleague if I had a copy of the audit that was performed on the line for the Lyon Township Board. And I said I didn't, you know, and I encouraged him to make a FOIA and see if he could get that, which he did. And he was told that that was really just for the board use. Okay. And
Want me to tell you that, or you want me to wait?
well, I'd be really interested because this is one side of the story. This is.
Yeah, but I know his name, it's escaping me there. If you could have a copy of it. Our auditor said this is for our use only. I said, no, it's for our use only. I did not say, in fact, if he played it, I suspect he could have it as fast as he wanted. You never saw it like.
Well, he actually got it faster. He actually got it faster because it's available on the state website.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I mean, there's just a communication issue here that I think we are hearing. If there was a friendlier feeling throughout our township, maybe we wouldn't, and we were more transparent about the things we're doing. Maybe things would work a little better. To my input.
All right, thanks, John.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Come on up, Jason.
Apologize a little bit because of the whole Jason Roberts. I want to jump on what you said, and Steve, I appreciate you bringing that up. The concerned citizens that we have are very concerned. And many of them are very knowledgeable. I see the same people. In fact, we've seen a lot of these people for a decade. I've seen more in this room than you guys. Not put up, but I've been coming to these meetings since the late '60s. And I'm like a lot of them. They're smart, educated, they're experienced. It's verbal experience, global experience. They've seen the boards and they've seen really good boards. And they know what they're seeing right now. And they're uncomfortable with that. They're frustrated with that. They'll be honest. There's some frustration. Yeah, it's not a perfect world. It's been 12 months. But some tendencies have been wrong. There's the egotistical comments, there's narcissistic comments, Those nepotism, favoritism, we ran on one agenda. We're here for everybody. And yet some people are sensing that that's truly not true. We're used to most of the time following rules, young people, well, medicine. I don't think a lot of people will make mistakes, but we're concerned about. Gosh, we're holding this for a year. Here's an ordinance officer. Where's that independent guy or girl going to go out there and enforce the rules? We're going to go for another year. Really don't know anything. I have problems. No, no, exactly what you talked about. The exact same thing. The bigger you like for every request. Go to me. Been there, done that. Number three. Okay. We've hiring practices. Payment issues. EMS doesn't really exist anymore. I don't remember that happening. Good situation, labor staffs, dental compensation. Those are some concerns. That's my time right now. Publishing information that's a little bit lacking. Maybe some of the previous boards, not good. There is already nice to meet certain citizens. I definitely get sensing it goes both ways. There's people that are coming at you and find laws. They've been an agenda, they're upset. And you can see some pushback every once in a while. The smug brain really has to stop. I got it. We're not wearing diapers anymore. A lot of the stuff we don't need to talk to the attorney. We need to talk to the citizens out there. And the latest concern, particularly in this budget, in this meeting, we were making decisions that were military related. And the words come up basically, I'm paraphrasing. We have money in the budget, which equates to let's go spend the money in the budget. Which I don't think that's a decision process that we should be focused on. Why not saving the money and not increase our property taxes? Well, I think everybody would go for that one, you know. And that's about it. You gotta continue to do the best that you can. If I or others can help you, I'm sure we're open to it. But I think given what Steve says, takes two to dance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Anybody else got something? Yeah, come on.
Not on that. Previous board member. I too have a problem with my FOIA. I FOIA'd January 5th, 2025 for a monthly treasurer's report, budget, any amendments, payroll, employee, deputy, time sheets, accounts payable. And I sent it to all of you. All of these reports monthly should take less than 15 minutes. Okay. I never got anything. Until I got hold of, I do believe, the deputy supervisor. She was CCing me under another resident. Made you aware that that was an illegal move. Okay. Then she was nice enough to say, not trying to throw her under the bus, but this is the way it was. When I get home, I'll email you this. And they said, no, you cannot do that. Once you put your email out there, it's for everyone to see. So, pardon me? No. I'm deputy supervisor. Well, you weren't. It was the new, the one before you. Then, June 17th, I emailed all of you, because I want me to answer that. And make sure you all know this. Ask each other. Understanding you're new at all of this again. I was new at everything myself. Nothing. It's again, excuse me, May 13th and then June 17th. We got a response from the supervisor or your coordinator that it would cost $100 because you proceeded to call the lawyer again. To get these documents, it takes less than 15 minutes per month. And I know this because I was on the board. So, said my piece. Maybe you guys can learn from all of this and start doing something a little bit better than what you're doing. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else got something they'd like to say tonight? Before we all go home and go to bed. Going once, going twice. I think we're done. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay, we got a second. All those in,
There's a discussion.
all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, carries. Nine, Kristen, five.
Thank you. Yeah.